something that comes from time. There's been so many changes since we did this, or since I've done this. God, I've almost forgotten how to speak. Let's do a couple of updates. I'm now in the space of Project Source with Whitney Merritt, my glorious beloved. And so everything's moved into our twin flame journey. So Ruth Elisabeth, as you knew me, and I still am that deep inside, okay, has moved into the new name and timeline of Dawson Dobson. Why would I pick that name? I have no idea, except that it came from the higher realms and is the next part of my evolution, my next placement, having been finishing off the entirety of Ruth Elisabeth and what she was and what she came here to do, and has pretty well done most of that. So some of the final things that we're going to talk about, though, has been definitely completing the Ruth Elisabeth story. So there's much to tell you, much to share with you. Whether we get to do that or not, I don't know, because there's just been so much. Every day we've always got something that's going on that's deeply into our twin flame relationship, into trauma healing, okay, that has been deeply embedded into our bodies and into our lives and into the way we manifest and produce at this time. And so all of that's had to come out. And hasn't that always been my message? Always, okay, is to come into the I am presence and to release that which is in us so we become more. But I have changed themes. I always said that, you know, with Diamond Matrix Masters, that I've always was about coming into your triune being and into greater source, which is going to bring us into the new earth, birthing inside of us and outside of us. So it's been quite the journey. But today, bizarre as it might sound, the topic is that I dismissed my body, okay, and that was a fatal mistake. Thankfully, not that fatal because I'm still here, but also I have some brilliant tools to share with you as to why it wasn't fatal, but it could have been. Okay, so it's really important that we cannot dismiss the body. So we're looking at the physical body. I always talk about full body wellness. The physical body, the mental body, emotional body, and spiritual body, or our auric field, and setting up. And so the Diamond Matrix Masters paradigm and initiation school with the Diamond Quantum School was to initiate people into Diamond, to come up through the heart center, okay, so that we would actually come up in and experiencing the higher dimensions of 5D and above reality within the tree of life architecture. That's what it's been all about. How cool is that? So everything is about a journey into love for myself, a love for source, and it's how everything flows down through me and into my lived reality, manifesting a true reality rather than a screwed up version of reality as we've been taught that we should be living. So just recently, there's been a time of reckoning. Okay. Shit. Really? Yeah, really. Okay, so I wasn't well over this last month. And there's certain things that I knew that I wasn't being totally honest with myself, okay? And I'm quite sure we all feel this way in some capacity. And there's, you know, if people say you need to look after your body or you don't love yourself because of, you know, the way you treat yourself or the way you think about yourself, if you're putting yourself down all the time, if you have low self-esteem or you're not able to love yourself, why is that? Well, we can't love ourselves if we've got trauma and pain within our system, in our vibrational system. If it's our vibrational world has trauma stories in it, then that has to come out of us so it can actually free us to be the living creational essence that we are in our eternal signature, okay, as a living creation. But if we've got all of this stuff, which we have been, because we've been, remember this, back, front, and upside down, okay, playing the game, in the game, okay, in this manipulated game of victim, intimidator, and rescuer. You can see my guitar and all. If we're actually playing this game, well, we're so busy being that, we actually can't be this, okay, in the I am presence, in the God self. So it's always been my teaching and training has always been to turn from duality and how this works into, okay, changing platforms within ourselves, changing the foundation into the I am presence. Okay, so it's not surprising that some of us can't love our bodies. Isn't that sad? It is sad. It's terribly sad. So I can honestly say that it's not just sad, it is fatal. This is how the body dies, okay? So I had to come to this place where a beloved one, by divine appointment, came into my life and said, how can you allow yourself to be, you know, in this poorer condition in this sense? And I'm going, wow. She goes, don't you love yourself? And I'm going, well, no, not really. Okay, know that I'm supposed to. And said, you know, you're neglecting your body. And I'm going, well, I love my body. Yeah, it's a snifty little body. It's handy. But as a body, I dismissed it. It was something I just flipped away. It's like, yeah, well, of course. You know, I was malnutritioned. I was a little, you know, I wasn't able to feed myself. I wasn't able to nourish myself. Over the years, I had the, you know, PTSD, ADHD, about everything that kept me like live on a wire, and didn't realize what it was actually doing to my body. So I've been spending the last 2 years just healing my whole self. And a part of that has been nating my body and healing my body, okay? But it wasn't because I love my body, okay? In fact, I always knew that I had issues with my body. And it comes from so many different places when you have trauma, okay, that is built in, and in those places that you don't realize where it comes from. So a lot of my stuff was in utero. What is that? Well, it's when you're in the womb, okay? Being bombarded with all of these earthen things as we're coming in to this world, you know? And I knew that I had all of this stuff going on, but I didn't have a clue. And I certainly didn't have the tools, you know, until 2 years ago. My thing was bringing in the I am presence and sweeping it clean with Christ consciousness. Most of my teaching was dealing with the mental and emotional bodies, but not necessarily the full subconscious mind. So I was able to remove big chunks of things, but wasn't able to drill down to the nitty gritty, was actually being vibrationally held in my body. Okay, look at me. I was so tense. I had it all like this. Okay, and that's what had to be released out of my energetic system. My meridians had to be released to flow. Okay, my external lines, and all of this began to become a really interesting part of Whitney and my work and our twin flame journey together. So it was like she'd be going through something and then we'd bridge that, and then I'd be going through something, we'd bridge that. And it's been very individual as into what's been going on. And of course, influences like trauma from, you know, prior lives. It hasn't just been this life that we've been bridging, it's actually been prior lifetimes, reincarnational processes, traumas, tortures, God, things we've done to each other. We really have been disgusting as human beings, I do. And just looking at it, sometimes I go, is it worth clearing the trauma? Because it's almost as traumatic bringing a trauma up when you remember it. And it's like, holy crap, I did live through that. Yeah, so all of these things are accumulated effects, cause and effect, okay, that happens in duality, to be released now out of our systems so we can come into our eternal nature, which is the new earth. Look at this pristine place behind us. That is my home. That is where my full architecture is fully lit. Okay, I couldn't be more perfectly situated with this place behind me. It was my love, my soul, my innate creation being held in this place and the coding thereof. So it's not until your body stops working, okay, breaks down, before that, panic, fear, mortality all comes up. And it's sort of like suddenly I'm looking at something that's like, holy cow, I've just done all of this, and this. I've even moved countries. And what, I'm going to die on my own watch? Okay, that's ridiculous. So, but panic I did, fear, oh my God, this is what we're taking out of us, all of these things. Where is it coming from? Well, mortality has been taught to us well and truly. We were created to be great beings of life that lived for as long as we wanted to live before we passed from a form and moved into our next, whatever it is that we wanted to be. So things have changed on this earth, okay? But the new earth, okay, and all the architecture, okay, this beautiful architecture that I'm sitting in the frame of, this is what's coming, okay? And fear of death cannot be a part of it, okay? We have to clear these memories, these traumas from our systems that have created these rejections of parts of ourselves. And so this is what I had. It was deep inside my cellular memory, deep inside me. And I was forced to be honest with myself, okay? Truthfully, I hated my body. I hated the body. So I'm going to give you a few things that you might want to look at, because I happen to know that most light workers are actually doing this. Probably not more advanced ones, but I know there's a whole lot at my level of thinking and being. And so that's why I'm making this recording. So I needed to be honest. And the truth was, I was completely dismissive of my body, my physical cells. Dismissive. It's like, yep, I'll do that later. Okay, I wasn't in diet and exercise. I was into living lifestyle, but I didn't have any disciplines going on that made my self function better. But it wasn't about that. Okay. And this is another thing that many of us get caught up in. What we are so high functional spiritually. I can bring through, and we can bring through, the Christic nature of living essence, living creation, living form. But what is going on is I am the projector. Okay, so I am in the flow of source as source, projecting as source. But guess what I was doing? I bypassed the body. I actually rejected my body. So I knew that I could actually rejuvenate, and I knew I'd get to a point of having to deal with this at some point. It was hidden way back there. Okay, hidden away. Didn't want to look at it. But I knew there would be a day of reckoning. But I didn't know why. Okay. And I want to say that we are so innocent in our trauma. Okay. We've been so traumatized, honestly. And there is reason for rejecting the body. The body has been rejected because in many other times, the physical body, the physical incarnation of myself in these lifetimes, we've been slaughtered, we've been tortured, we've been brutalized, we've been sold, we've been slaves, okay? We have seen our divine counterparts miserably tortured, okay, miserable programs over them, sexual misery to God knows what, and we've become helpless. And the divine masculine or divine feminine hasn't been able to respond appropriately or according to these vile situations that we've actually lived. So the body for so many of us has been rejected. It's like, phew, I'm not coming into this body. Even when I started doing bridge with Whitney around this, it was like I was backpedaling. It's like, yeah, I know I've just agreed to come into this body. But no. I was terrified, the panic, the terror, okay, of the catastrophe of coming in and being overwhelmed by that of my mother or my father or whatever. literally encased, engulfed in these things that are too great for a sensitive, light soul. And that is the terror, okay, of coming into the body. And so this part of me was like terrified to come in. And then the part of me that's already here is going, oh my God, she won't come in. You know, she's not. She's hovering astrally outside the body. She won't come in and ground herself in the body. That's how terrified we were. It's one of the hardest things to come into a body to live the life that we've agreed to live, but we've still got to then action the actual dropping into form and then taking on everything that impacts us. And so I was like a preemie baby. I was like tube fed. I was in a humidity crib looking up through all these weird people through warped glass. And just my story is no different to anybody else's. But what is important to remember is that my story is my story, my trauma, just as your story is your story, your trauma is your trauma. And they are as effective at numbing you, effective at breaking you, effective because they're so traumatic to your little tiny baby you, okay, into that little nervous system. It's just growing out and growing out. And in utero, this is where you're just bombarded with a lot. So here you've got the situation, this soul personality, the spirit's coming in to fulfill the agreement that I'd made to come and do this thing, but I was backpedaling like you wouldn't believe, and maybe even 2 miscarriages lately. It's like, no, I'm not going there. Can't do that. Who is doing these things? I don't know. Okay, it's a big thing, isn't it? But the body. So people would say, you know, Whitney would actually say to me, but the baby, think of the baby. And I'm going, I can't even think of the baby because the baby would include me in a body. And I just rejected the body. It's like, I cannot be in a body. The body was like, I had these things about dead mice, and there's a dead bodies. Oh, insane. I'd be revolted by it, you know, nearly throwing up. And I'd see a dead mouse and I'd go, oh, it was stuck in the womb. It was like I'm coming into this pink body. It's like, oh, body, okay, body rejection. You've got no idea, okay? And I used to have these strange things that I'd say, and I probably wrote in the book once. Diamond Matrix Masters Self-Mastery Level 1 by Ruth Elisabeth. Just spin it out there. It is still an amazing read. Go get the book because you do need to understand a lot of fundamentals. So where was I going? I had this very real feeling. It's like, because as I was coming through, I got to a point of being able to go nurse. As I got a bit older, I was saying these funny, strange things like, I think I hate children because I can't stand them. I think I'd be okay for my own children, but I don't like children. Okay, I don't want children around me. And then when I went into medical health and nursing, I could not be in children's ward. Okay, I swapped out all of my shifts throughout that training, that set of training with children, pediatrics and things like that. I loved midwifery, but I couldn't do the children bit. And it was like one day it finally came to me, it was because I couldn't cope with their pain. Absolutely could not deal with their pain. So this pain, so I couldn't deal with their pain. And I ran, okay? I was a runner. It was like, I cannot do this. I'd be so anxious, so full of anxiety, so traumatized, PTSD and all this type of jazz coming through. And I didn't even know I had it. Okay, I didn't even know. I just created all these coping mechanisms. But what was it? That came to a final end this week. This week, okay? The reason I couldn't stand children or be in their presence when they are suffering was because of my own pain. That was so traumatized me in utero. And so the bridge this week do you know what? It's completely gone. It's completely gone today. I'm a bit exhausted. I just seem to be preaching to the bottom of myself, which is the reason that we do trauma release of any sort, isn't it? To take that story vibration out of our field so that I can be. Just be. Oh my God, such relief. And that's all gone. And I'm talking about 18 months, so it's probably been a while since I made a video. It's like 18 months of bridging. Okay, let's have a look at my notes. So this has been deliberately happening. I was getting to a point that I could barely walk up a flight of stairs. And I had this pain in the like closed off stuff. And this is the beautiful thing about Whitney, okay, and bridge, which I'll keep saying, and I'm going to show you what it is so that you've got the tools and materials. Look, dying is what the world accepts, okay, it really is. I am living proof sitting here that I removed emotional trauma from my body. Over and over and over, I have removed trauma from my body. It has a place in me, okay, that I could become accountable for, which was a lived experience that made these things physically react in my body. Okay, and that's what a symptom is. When it shows in your body, it's time for the emotional wounding or wounding, the trauma memory to be released from the body, no matter what it is. So people having from, you can have between the heart attacks to broken legs to whatever, we've always known that we remove a vibrational story and then come into alignment, okay, with our soul source and God source to actually heal. But this goes for the fatal side. This is death, okay? If you are bringing energy through your system, through your light body, through your multidimensional self, and you're going, and I tell you what, we can turn that light on. But if we are not feeding it into our cell, and each cell is a living, intelligent being or a creation that is vibrationally listening. And I'm going to talk about this because is it Cryon? Okay, teaching was sent out to me by a good friend of ours. Oh my God, it said exactly the things that I had been dismissing. One, that we dismiss that we are an entire creation. Okay, this is really important. You are a living creation with the tree of life pouring through you. And if you do not own every aspect of yourself, you are going to abort that part that you're neglecting. And it's so easy for people to say, oh, just love yourself. And it's like, okay, I didn't say that, did I? Not out loud. Okay. But yeah, bugger off. Okay. Because it is so hard to love yourself, okay? When you've been so scared, so traumatized in the past, and we don't know what's overlaying people, okay? And that's why we need more than mental health, okay, professionals, because they will never remove a vibrational story of trauma. They just don't have the tools to talk and talk and talk, but it's not going to come out. So that's why I love this this work that we do. So one, you can be a light worker, and I can promise you, many of us are actually now facing this off the planet. Okay, are we hanging around or aren't we hanging around? And then again, back to Kion, what he was saying is that we are coming into a new time where, and it's called, he calls it call or cal, CAL, which is your cells are listening. Well, I'm a creator, and I knew that I could create many things and change everything from the weather to God knows what I want to participate in. I have the authority to do that. But I never understood that I was malnutritioning my body. So in utero, okay, my poor little thing, okay, was malnutrition, I wasn't able to breathe. My lungs could never breathe all my life. Okay, my family's had lung conditions, lung problems, haven't been able to breathe. Guess what that is? Not being able to live. And I go, and somebody said that to me, and I go, yeah, I know that. I've not been able to live. I mean, only weeks ago, it's like 6 weeks ago now, I went to the bottom of a trauma, and it was, I'm condemned. My body's condemned. I am condemned, and I am unworthy to connect to God. Get a go at that. Well, is it any wonder I grew up in the church? The body is a sacrificial body. We talk about sacrificial lamb. Yeah, I give everything up to service. And this is what a lot of our light workers are in. They're so service-oriented, service, that they're not living because they're so trying to get home to God. And so we've been busy, okay? We haven't stopped working. We're trying to get back to God because we are unworthy and we think that we're condemned. Now, I know that you're going to hear that, and you need to look at it, okay? You need to look at it. All of this stuff. This is a part of the netting. This is the crucifixion, lies. This is sexual misery. This is giving your power out to others so that they can govern you. This is everything. If you think that you have not got place here and that your body is not important, then you are just bypassing it. And yet your cells are listening, so your body is listening. And all of my life, I haven't been talking to it. Okay, I haven't been talking to it. So it's been listening to me, listening, ever listening, listening. Cells are listening. Like I said, it never came from me, it came from Chiron teachings. Well worth going off. It only came out a month ago. How appropriate. This big lesson of mine, saying exactly what I'd unpacked for myself until I had to deal with it. And so I started talking to my body. But you know what? It's not talking to your body. So affirmations don't cut it. You can tell your body anything that you like, but it's not going to listen because cells aren't listening to words. The cells are listening to feelings of love. And it's pretty hard to love yourself when you are terrified of the body. Okay, it's very hard to love your body when you are terrified to come into your body. This has to be dealt with. It's a massive trauma. And I would say that probably 98% of light workers actually have this. And guess what? If you're not streaming all of me, all of you as a living signature, that includes my body, okay, that includes my mental body, emotional body, and spiritual body. If I am what's the word? The opposite of inclusion, okay, separation. If I'm not including it, then I'm actually writing that into my own script. Oh my God, who's writing it? I'm writing it. I wrote it. It was like, this doesn't, it's not the temple of God. Well, yes, it is. It is the temple of God. It's got to become that. And so all these wonderful people, of course, have been, vegans, they've been purifying their bodies and doing all of this wonderful stuff. And yeah, good on you. That is true. But if you are doing it because you hate your body, you're doing it to control your body, okay, that is not loving your body. So your cells, they're going to go, well, I'll get a little bit muscly for you, but I'm still going to cark it. I'm still going to die. Why is that? Because you have been imprinting, cells are listening, imprinting your body with false messaging that I don't like you, 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 I don't like you. And the only thing that's actually kept me alive is running Christic through me, okay? But I, as creator source in this vessel and in my own creation, okay, has been going, I don't like you, I don't like you, I don't like you, I don't like you. And so malnourishing the energetic system, which is not feeding the replenishment of the body. Holy cow, we know that the body can rejuvenate itself every 7 years, full system rejuvenation. I've had this great belief in me. I know that this is true. I know that I've had to go through this clearing because it had to happen. Okay. Am I going to go out there and do more exercise? Well, no, because I'm not very disciplined at it. But by me bringing in eternal presence and now being able to accept my baby's body. And it was so cool bringing my baby home, because then she filled out and I saw her like this beautiful, like it's like a plant, okay? It's either this little weed, okay, in the dry, hot sun and no nutrition in the soil, to being this plump plant that brings the fruit to full harvest. 100%. Okay, 100%. And so being able to bring my body, and that poor little thing that I was cursing her, it's like, I don't want to borrow you. And I've always found it very difficult to do in a child journey. It's like, no, there's too much pain there. You know, I've had oceans of tears pouring out of me, okay? And other spiritual workers around me have said, you've got tears to cry. And I go, yeah, probably. Okay. Won't be today because I don't even know how I'm going to get there. All right. It'll come up when it comes up. Well, guess what, babes? It came up and has been coming up. So we've been doing this freeing up, and then this final one yesterday to deal with my body. And it was just too impacted. Okay. I was terrified. Actually, I've been terrified of coming into the body since our Lemurian experience moving into Atlantis when the bodies split. Okay, there's a whole big story. And we'll put that up on Project Source sooner or later. We're going to keep feeding this channel on YouTube probably. But keep an eye out for any new notifications, because we're going to start hitting it. But we're quite free now. And, you know, one of the big messages, what else is here on my little notepad? One of my messages this week, okay, once getting through this, was be the chipmunk. And if you look up spiritual meaning of chipmunk, it's so cute. Because it means be spontaneous, get into the adventure, you know, feed new life through, live. And that's what I couldn't live before. Before it was like a high degree of maintenance. Spiritual work, coding everywhere, all of that became so much more important than myself. And guess what? That means that I'm impoverished in some ways. If I can't feed my physical body and nourish and nurture my physical body, okay, I am probably going to have difficulty manifesting in the physical realm, okay, which has always been my thing. That's why I came here to learn. All right. So you can learn more about that with Diamantic Masters, which is still on Facebook if anyone's wanting to troll through some of that material. But it's all about coming into your God self. As twin flame, I have Whitney next to me, and I've got and have been. So we're kind of like two egg yolks in a twin egg. I like putting it. So our God self, we're sharing everything. If you're with you, and each part of us has had to, you know, Whitney's had to deal with her. I've had to deal with me. Okay, we've done that really clean. It's been a very cool journey. And at the same time, then we've had traumas come up that we've both suffered and yet experienced our own individual traumas because of what was done to us and what's happened to us. And so that is karmically healing. So all of this is karma, okay, cause and effect, reason for something happening. The beauty of trauma, I just want to say, don't be afraid of trauma, okay? Yes, we've gone through it. If we can get to the honesty, okay, and we have to be honest, all right, really, I had to come out of denial. I was dismissing my body. If I am not bringing loving attention and focus to something, I am dismissing it, so it must die, okay? Every single body on this planet dies because it's been dismissed from the energy of loving flow. And who's dismissing it? The owner of the body. Isn't that cool? So I'm dismissing it. If I'm not listening to my cells and if I'm not feeding it with true consciousness, then I'm going to be the one that's being malnourished. Okay, it's going to break down. And those things that are stuck inside me, guess what? This is my, okay, when I actually got kicked here as a child, and it winded me. I couldn't breathe. Again, you can't live. You can't live. Guilt, I'm going to die. Okay? What's being imprinted? I had a hoof mark here. Okay? This was damaged, completely damaged. And I didn't know why, how, whatever. I thought I was dying. Okay? I thought I had cancer. God knows what. No, it's my diaphragm. Okay? It's actually injured. And then I had all these, I haven't been able to live. I'm not allowed to live. I've got no right to live. I'm not worthy to live. A message that's been passed on from my beloved mum, okay, has been, I just want to go to be with the Lord. Okay, I don't want to be in the body. The body is not important. Okay, so we wonder where we get all of this stuff from. And I go, God, forgive me if I've started all of this to my children. I tell you what, I've tried to cut out massive chunks of it, but yeah, some of it has gone direct lineage through. And that's why we need something to help us heal. I'm just going to, I don't want to sprout about this, but honestly, I don't know how people are working without the bridge modality, which Whitney Toll's Merit has brought through. It is genius. I had to come for this. I wouldn't be still on the planet without it, because this is a tool and a great resource to every single human being on the planet. And, you know, we've gotten a lot out there, but nothing in comparison, because you can give somebody something, but whether they actually use it or not, well, I've used it. Because I refuse to remain bound to this type of nonsense that's been put on us. And that's what my book was about. It was always to be freeing ourselves. It's like, I'm not going to be a slave to nonsense. And I'm not going to serve anyone else but my source. And we've been so dedicated at that. That's the thing. All of us doing light work, coding, we're so dedicated to source. And this is what I want to pass on. I was at Saskia Diamond, okay? There's a little mention of this one. Again, twin flames doing mighty work with her partner. And she talks about 3 different things, which I want to introduce here because I'm going to start using it more. What was the first one? Just going to think about it. Hold on. It's like holy craving. Gonna have to look it up. It's like craving for God. It's like this thing inside of us. You know, we're so christically motivated. It's in our DNA, it's in our architecture to crave to get back to God, to crave to do God's will, source will, live our best things. And the second part is like holy trust. Okay, trust. Yes, we have that. We've got this desire for source. We've got this trust for source. Okay. And what's the last one? Hold on, I'm going to think about it. Last one is surrender. Oh, I don't like that word. Oh, surrender as a Christian has me back to front, upside down. On my knees. On my knees before God. That is not what it's about. Oh, surrender. What is that? Oh my God. You know, when she said the first time, this part of my mind, you know, exploded. And then the second part is just the consciousness of source comes in and fills you up and just opens you up to the living consciousness of source. And what that's doing is it's filling up your entire creation. It's filling up your signature throughout all of the dimensions in the physical body and allowing Father, Mother, God, okay, and the twin Christ okay, the golden child and the violet child, to come in and lift you up into the new earth creation. And when you're being filled up with that, it's like, why would I keep controlling my environment? Okay. Why would I keep just working out the mental and emotional minds? Okay, it keeps me away from living consciousness. So what was that? It's like holy allure or something like that. Holy trust, holy surrender. And we have that, don't we? We're so hungry to do our return, to get into this, but we're meant to be here in the physical body. So have a look at that, see what you think about that, see how, and have a jolly good look. You need like that, do that litmus test on yourself. How are you thriving is really important, but surrendering to your living creation as you. Okay, me being Dawson, Dobson, going into my new timeline. I'm going, how am I going to take this body condition? How's my body going to change and take on the new architecture of Dawson, Dobson? What is that going to look like? How's that going to be? Well, it has to bring that part to an end. And it's not because I'm rejecting Ruth, by the way. It is because, and it was a bit tricky, okay? I had to go, am I rejecting her? I'm just wanting her finished. Do it. Get it done. She just went through all the sexual abuse. She went through all this stuff. She's been traumatized. All that PTSD, hated her body. It's like, oh, whoa. And then we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. There's the baby there. Out with the bathwater. And it's like, no, we don't want to do that. We actually want to gather her and then bring my next dimensional self in, my timeline, and because they love each other, because all that I am is flowing through me in all of my expressions of living as a living creation, which is going to keep happening in every now moment in this eternity that is now and now and now and now and now. This is what I'm experiencing next. I'm going to quickly stop there because you know me, I go on forever. Okay. But gosh, it's good to be back. I'm going to show you, I'm going to just screen share for a minute and show you the resource manual. It's called the Bridge Manual. Let's have a look. There it is. Yeah. Rid of that so I can see it. It's probably down here. So it's taken myself 5 months at least to put all of this together. Who was it created by? Whitney Tolles Merritt. Where's her name? Here we are. Whitney Tolles Merritt, okay, who is a NAET practitioner, N-A-E-T, does all the vials, traditional Chinese medicine. So while the central nervous system, meridian system's being cleared, okay, and balanced and bridged, okay, she also does bridge, which is the emotional healing. So you can actually literally heal trauma no matter what it is. It could be my brother took my lollipop off me, okay, to holy crap balls, okay, we're talking ascension bridge, big lifetime stuff. But this is clear trauma and unresolved emotions by your own hands. It's using a group of points, okay, on your wrists. And it's so simple. So basic bridge, I'll show you a little tiny piece of it. But once you start applying it, it becomes so clever. So all of the list of emotions are actually the same within it, but it's topically so effective to whatever you want to put it to. So we can do baby bridge in utero. This is pretty specialized that Whitney does. Children's bridge. Imagine your children going through something and you can just go put a hand on this pulse point. Now breathe it through, and you're neutralizing trauma in that exact moment as a parent to the child. The child doesn't have to live what we've lived, if we educate ourselves with a method that actually works in that living moment. It's brilliant. Ascension Bridge for those spiritual light workers and people who are coming together. This is a massive thing that Whitney and I have been doing. We've got a lot of insight around it. We share a lot on this as we meet more and more of our twin flame collective. We've got Couples Bridge. Oh, geez, Couples Bridge. That's where a couple sits in front of each other's face to face, and feels with great honesty, okay, what they are feeling at that moment, and you bridge it. And tell you what, if you walk away with without a tear, I'd be amazed. But you're breathing it out, and it takes. We find it so hard to be loved. Sitting in front of someone that you feel that strongly about, okay, is raw honesty, okay, it's amazing. It'll open your heart up. It'll clear those blockages out of you and it'll get you sorted. Money bridge, yeah, everyone wants money bridge, don't we? All right, so you can trot through and you can get it. I'm going to put the link in the end of the video, so it'll be on YouTube. Go to that link, pick up your bridge manual for purchase. We cannot, if you can imagine being a therapist or a counselor of any sort, too many people to deal with. We're wanting and have created this so that people can do their own bridge. Okay, we are getting it out to practitioners. Any practitioners are wanting it, we have a practitioner package. Okay, and this is working through all of these different parts of your physical body. So if you're removing something that's obstructing any part of your physical body, guess what's going to become well? Yeah, because it's got nothing wrapping trauma around that part of you. So every trauma, every emotion is associated with some point in your body, and that's going to clear that, which of course is clearing your physical system. So if you've got symptoms of any sort, from skin to autoimmune to whatever it is, it's going to come out when you actually release the energetic trauma behind it. Holism. By healing, we learn wholeness, and by learning wholeness, we learn to remember ourselves wholeness source. Oneness is an accepted concept in most every religion and in many healing modalities. Ego always seeks to divide and separate it. Healing is a sign that we want to make whole. Healing is a way of forgetting the sense of danger that's been introduced in you by an experience. Love needs only this invitation. By our awakening to it, we merely forget what we are not. This enables us to remember what we are. Be confident that we have never lost our identity. In union, the next step extends to wholeness and ultimately towards peace. We exist on mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual levels as a whole tree of life. In treating your physical symptoms, we view them as part of the whole, looking through the lens of the nervous system. The concept of holism is a foundational principle of Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine. We consider the individual as a totality. In our truest nature, we are one, and the part always reflects the whole. So we may begin to look at the parts as they come alive in a rich context until there is no part left to see. I love that. So you can find out about Whitney, her history, how actual techniques work, how we become traumatized in the first place. And I'll just take you through a few little parts of it. Doobie-doobie-doo. Okay, some of the things that I'll just sit here for a moment is ridiculous. I would never have worked out where some of my eating disorders came from. How do you get an eating disorder? Whoa, I found out. Okay, and comes by, well, I'm not even going to go there, but this can heal everything from ADHD, which I have. We've removed Lyme's disease. That was interesting. Body pain, insomnia, stomach pain, food allergies, blindness, God's sake. Hay fever, heart palpitations, bladder infections, etc. Look at it, it's all there. Okay, and it shows you how. So this is showing you, introducing the bridge model. It's actually showing you how it works through your meridian systems and how to get that going. And then we take you through muscle testing if you're wanting to learn. Okay, it's actually in there, but it's not necessary for emotional clearing. These points. Doobie, 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 do. And then we show you how to do the actual technique. Okay, so you're working through it all. Not going to give it away. I'm pretty sure that that's enough. Because we worked hard to put this together. We want you to get a copy of it yourself. All right, enough with the screen sharing. Where am I going to? All right, back to here. If you're wanting to get a copy of the bridge manual, okay, and start learning a technique that's actually going to do the work, that's actually going to remove trauma and trauma stories that seed place that it started in your body, in your systems, in your memories, okay, then this is for you. I'm going to put it up on the YouTube link, so it's going to be in the description. Have a look at that. Check in, subscribe to Project Source. We've got nothing up there, just so you know. I think I've got one other video. We're going to start getting a move on. Whitney has got so much to share that it's ridiculous, okay? Her genius and connections to the inner world, the deity planes, etc., are phenomenal. So you want to follow her in Project Source, because she's just, what we're living daily is just absolutely incredulous. So love you, love you, love you. Okay, keep an eye out. Look at this body connection. Okay, for you light workers, come on, look at your body. Anybody. Okay, look at your physical body. You cannot starve a part of you. It has to flow through your entire you. That's how glorious you are. And that's what's coming. I'm going to also put up Cryon's, what I hope I'm saying that right. His video. It's called, I'm not sure, but it's going to be on the link as well. So have a look at it, because it's perfect teaching. Absolutely what I lived to experience and gain the knowledge of before being able to clear the trauma that was holding me back from loving my body. Okay, being glad to be here. Okay, so we need to focus on bringing the total source through in full flow through this living creation that I am and that you are. Oh my God, do not leave yourself behind. Do not curse yourself. Okay, but let the consciousness of Source, Father, Mother, God, and the Holy Christ come through you and rejuvenate, restore, love, heal, heal, heal those parts that you have rejected yourself, that you stood against and made these decisions as a creator to not bless that part. Okay? It was with deep sadness. I was terrified. You have been terrified. Okay? If you want to catch up, I'm going to put in the general inquiries link with Whitney's work, with my work, with the twin flame work. So you can have a look, book in, chat to us about anything. We're very interested in Christic projects, okay, and funding things that we can get on with and be creative and inventive with. So stay in touch, get in touch, be in touch with us. Love you, love you, love you. Thank you for sharing this space. Blessings, Christic blessings forever.